What's up, Internet? We are here after trying to launch a stream and then all my stuff freaking out. That was fun. We are here with Off-World Interceptor Extreme, a game that I actually, I thought this was a different game entirely called, what is it? Off-Road Thunder, which was like a sequel to Hydro Thunder, but with monster trucks. This is also a game with monster trucks, but in space. And that sounds pretty cool. We don't have a password, so we're gonna go without it. This is a game by Crystal Dynamics, and it's a game that looked really interesting to me. We're gonna skip this because I just want to get into the game properly, but there's cutscenes and stuff that might make the satiator freak out a little bit. I played a little bit of this, and it reminds me of another game Crystal Dynamics put out, which was called, what was it, Solar Assault, I think it was called, or Solar Eclipse or something like that. It was sort of like this rail shooter with spaceships, whereas this is more of a rail shooter with trucks, effectively. It's kind of a neat game. It's got a pretty good soundtrack from what I remember. I can't actually hear it, because my audio is too low. I'm going to see if I can fix that in the next stage or something like that. But basically, it's kind of like a death race to the end of the environments. All while trying to pick up as many weapons and random crap as you can to try and take out your opponents, all while earning as much money as you possibly can to upgrade yourself in sort of like dystopian space future. It seemed like a really neat idea. I played very little of it just to test out the satiator a while back, but I thought it was pretty fun, and this was a game that I kind of wanted for a while just because I thought it looked pretty neat. Even if this feels like only a step above like those ostensibly FMV games where you just control a little arrow to sort of simulate a spaceship. You know, it's not quite that, but it is definitely a rail shooter, so it's only like a step away from that. I tend to associate the things kind of similarly, and I don't normally like those kind of games, but this game's pretty fun. And there we go. Time critical, but we won. I think. We didn't explode, okay? That's the important thing. Ready to chase 2. Okay, well, let's go to the shop and see if we can upgrade our thing. I have to say, I played around with some of the options menus, and it has that same sort of, like, screen, like, jumble effect that just gives me a headache. There's a bunch of different vehicles we can get as well. But let's start by... what do we want? Jump jets might be fun, but I think shields are... I'm going to buy shields, just because that gives us a little bit of safety. I'll buy that missile. I'm actually going to buy one of those as well. Okay, I think we're good. But this game looks pretty fun. I played it very briefly, like I said, but I had a lot of fun with it. You know, it just seems like a fun kind of destruction derby style thing with sort of a sci-fi dystopian twist. Whole thing is don't get destroyed. And there's boss fights. I remember running into a boss at one point and thinking, wow, this game's actually pretty varied. So I think this is one I'm going to have to keep an eye out for. Just, you know, if I must show my hand early on. It's not a complicated game by any means or measure. I think that, what is it, Solar Eclipse was a bit more story focused and a bit more interesting, whereas this is more just arcadey nonsense. But there's nothing wrong with that. Just gotta keep trying to grab as much money as we possibly can so we can upgrade and repair. If we can do that, we're good. Oh, also there's a jump button. I was thinking, okay, it said jump jets, and I know you can jump in this game, but what's the thing for that? It's the shoulder button, which is sensible, I guess. I had a lot of trouble figuring out what I wanted to play tonight. And I just decided, you know, I'm going to look at my entire satiator library and see what jumps out at me, and it was either going to be like this, Zwei, or Gex. And honestly, out of the three, Zwei is easily the best of the three, but... you know, I've never played the original Gex. I don't really have any interest in it either. I've never liked Gex as a character, but I'm quite familiar with his games, except for the first one, so that might be interesting to try. There's a lot of games I've kind of done Let's Plays of on the Saturn already that weren't part of Saturn Day either, and I'm hesitant to include them. Like, I've done Panzer Dragoon, but I'd like to do it for Saturn Day as well. Oh, we have a laser gun, too. Rock and roll. Although that really does lag the game out a fair bit. But the destruction in this game is quite impressive. Uh-oh. Out of my way. I'm not sure what exactly time is. I think that's the red bar up in the corner, and the line on it's where we are relative to the end of the course, I think. We had like 10 seconds left. We really need to up our little monster truck's jam a bit. So let's see about... Indicator 32,000. I can't upgrade the thing anymore, and I don't have anywhere near enough for that. Better tires might help a little, though. Let's buy that. Nitros. I'm guessing that's one of the other 3 buttons I haven't used yet. Don't really need missiles. We've got perfectly good lasers. Clones. I like that they're actively acknowledging that you die when you die. You just get a clone. Okay, let's try and figure out what the nitro nonsense is. Okay, so that's lasers. That's jump. Don't land on your head. That's a gun. That makes your lasers even more kick-ass. Ooh, gold. Yes, please. Whoa, okay, there's a first-person mode. Rock and or roll. I have no idea what the nitro button is. Plasma, missiles. This is just gas. Okay, so nitro is... Oh, God, I have to, like, crab claw with my index finger, like, the Y button to hit this. Okay, that's a little annoying. Still, if it helps, I'm not going to complain. Just make sure we grab as much coin and health recovery as we can. Ooh, gold, I want that. Yes, please. I feel we are going to need as much funding as we possibly can for better space monster trucking. Woo! This game is fun. Like, it's not a complicated, and it doesn't seem like that technically impressive, but, you know, it's fun. I wouldn't say it's like a top-tier must-have game or anything, but if you want a fun arcadey experience, I'm on board for this so far. Grab that gold, and this gold. But I think that line on the red bar in the top right corner is where we are relative to the end. The red progress on that is the time limit, I think. And I think the bar on the left is healing. Yeah, so the white line got to the end of the right, and that did seem to correspond with the end. So we got to use those nitros a lot more if we want to keep ahead of the time limit. But we beat that by a freaking minute, so that's not too bad. Might help to buy a couple of missiles. Can't afford a clone. I don't think we can buy any other cars. I don't think we need more jump jets, and I don't see gyros being terribly helpful, because logically all that's going to do is correct us if we jump, and if we're not jumping too much, it's not going to matter much. Alright. I think ideally what we want to do is try and save up for a better car. I think this is a boss fight. Yep. So we need to be careful not to die to the boss. I'm actually catching up to it rather reasonably, which is probably not what you want to do. But I do believe it's dead, Jim. This is a neat little arcadey thing. I like this game. Maybe we should do Solar Eclipse next time. Oh god, that is so sci-fi. I think we do have enough money for a new car, too, which is a plus. And we got a password. So if you're playing along at home, you can copy that and move ahead. Also, if you're playing along at home with me... Really? Someone's doing that with something I'm doing? I'm flattered.
Just confirmed 3 civilian casualties. Courtesy of
The cash cops. Yes, they were warned. And number 4, how was he
We
killed?
are number 4, and we're still alive, you piece of number 2.
Well, aren't we lucky?
No, we're number 4.
I say congratulations, except you're back for more.
You already did, Colonel Fancy.
Oh, well? It appears Lupus
What's
was
on the
supplying
menu?
weapons to a mercenary on Atlantia Point, who's a peripheral suspect in a Priority 3 investigation.
Okay, I'll have the lupus, the
Intercepting
peripheral,
her to help
and the soup du
tie
jour.
up some loose ends. Major?
Minor? Could you drop that thing down again, please? Come on down. Ah!
I love that this game recognizes that FMV sequences are amazingly cheesy and bad and are just, like, you know, MST 2000, 3000, this, it's like, yo, this is gonna be dumb and fun, so let's just make the dumb and fun commentary part of it.
Terminated in the process?
What?
The game's effectively doing my job for me now.
You wiener?
I was watching via satellite.
Did you tape me?
I caught some of your antics.
Yeah, what about my shenanigans?
You take a lot of chances, Trashman.
It's sanitary engineer.
Don't take too many.
Are you starting to care? Hey, she digs us. Yeah, we're gonna get some. Yeah, boy.
That's hilariously dumb, and I love that they went and did that. That's just magical is what that is. We could almost buy a space truck. Unfortunately, I can't sell my existing car, and we don't have quite enough. Although, I feel like that would be a straight-up upgrade. Okay, new plan. We're gonna go without doing much in this fight. And then we're gonna get the next upgrade. Also, that effect really makes me want to vomit. So maybe don't do that anymore, Crystal Dynamics. I don't even think you're around anymore. Ooh. This looks nice. Alright, let's grab as much money as we can and try not to get destroyed until we get our next space truck. But I am on board with this game and everything it stands for. This game represents fun. And I kind of love it. Also, these things remind me of Space Harrier. Like the big rock faces in Space Harrier. That were obnoxious to kill then. Oh, hey, we got a... That's not the button I wanted. We can do that. Because nuking, it's a thing we can do in this game. I probably should have held on to that for the next boss or something. Let's take advantage of Nitro and try and get a little bit of speed. Because we are up ahead of the time limit, but it never hurts to be more. Alright. We seem to be doing okay. We're ahead of the time limit. And we got a clone. Nice. Also, I think something was written on the ground there. Not going to sit around and find out what it said, but... Oh, get out of my way. Boom! This is not a smart game, but it's a brilliant game. I think that's all that needs to be said about this. Woo! I think this might be kind of a must-have. I'm gonna have to look this game up and see how expensive it is. I think it's only about 15 bucks too, so... For an imported copy, anyway. I think I might have to, put this on my must-haves. Oh, let's avoid those mines. They're kind of grouping up over there. Gotta use the jump jets to shoot down the flying ships. Oh. I'm well in front of the time limit there, game. Okay, their frame rate. That's okay. Well, I was almost dead, but we made it. Oh, this game is cool. Alright. I think it's time we upgrade. Ugh, I could do without that effect. I'm gonna say that every single time. Obviously, we're gonna buy this. Unfortunately, we don't have enough money to upgrade it any. So we're just gonna have to hope that its base specs are good enough for us. Ooh. It's got little wide shots. Kind of appreciate that. Okay, let's grab as much money as we can. And the healing. It does feel a bit like we're not moving as fast as we want to be. Like, it seems like the time counter is now moving faster than our little space truck, but as long as we keep up the turbos, we should be okay. This game is just bonkers. I kind of love it, though. Woo! Oh, let's avoid the Space Harrier rock faces. Avoid the space helicopter gunning for our space truck. You know, this game is entirely uncomplicated, and I'm okay with that. The draw distance isn't that great. I guess I can complain about that, but I think this is just a fun, goofy time. Oh, more money for us means more upgrades. And we need those upgrades. Oh! We are not in the best position right now. We gotta find some health. Phantom truck. Oh, those little arches are shooting at us. That's what's going on. I was like, what the hell is shooting at us? I'd prefer not to get killed this close to the end, but I might not have a lot of choice. Unless I just crank up the accelerator and hope. Oh, we were so close to the end there. Alas, time to use up one of our clones. I love that that's the conceit they give us. Unfortunately, I still don't think we have enough for a speed upgrade. Oh, we do, actually. They let us keep our money. That's nice of them. Buying that. Alright, now the speed upgrade, we should be okay. More armor will be our next thing we go for, but speed is definitely important. Alright. Space truck in. Shooting helicopters. It's a fun concept for a game. Uncomplicated, and it doesn't need to be more so. I would like that wrench, thank you. Or spanner, as some people might call it. Well, no one I would know would call it that. Oh. Although when the lag does hit, like, your controls do get kind of muddy. That's a bit unfortunate, but otherwise this game seems pretty fun. I'm just having a dumb fun time with this. And I'm okay with that. You know, in a world where I could have tonight picked Myst, I smartly chose not to because I would have been unhappy having done so because I dislike Myst intensely. But I instead picked something that requires zero thought, and instead I'm having a blast. Sometimes dumb fun is just what you need in life, I guess. I mean, that's why I like the EDF games. Woo! Well done, Crystal Dynamics. You did a good thing making this game. Also, I didn't leave it on the splash screen, but if I had, you'd see like the most insane Crystal Dynamics ad ever, where they had like this grown man playing murder ball with kids and getting completely ganked on a schoolyard. It was the weirdest thing ever. I feel like I need to record that and just have it on my channel for posterity for just how weird it was. Maybe if I can remember, I'll do that. Just because it was so weird. I would like these coins, thank you. I'd like these guys out of my way if I could get them there. I don't know which one of those is going to fall, so let's avoid all of them. Woo! Space trucking. It's fun. Okay, I'm thinking armor's our next thing we need if we have the money for it. Alright. Let's do it. Alright, and that next one is 600, and there's a huge jump, so unlike these two, which were pretty close in our earnings, unless we basically get the amount of money for this, the odds are there won't be sort of sensibility in just skipping the upgrading, just for the sake of getting a better car next time. Ooh! This is a new jungly area. I kind of like it. Draw distance seems a little better. Frame rate's not so much, but what can you do? Oh, carpet bombing! Whoa, mines. Thanks, other car, for knocking me out there. Just gonna pick up these coins. This is fun. I'm honestly out of things to say about this at this point, because it's just, you know, it's exactly what it is, but I'm having an absolute blast. Give me more clones. Oh crap, we are running out of health rather quickly. I don't care so much for that. Got a nuke though. Oh, spanner. There we go. Okay. We're alive for the moment. That's a plus. There's another one. Really got to prioritize not dying right now. I think that's the best plan we've got. Although we are slowing down rather quickly, and I'm not a fan of that. Also, these guys have really got an impressive defensive game. Not gonna lie. Basically making me spam nitro. Ah, and we got a clone. Nice. Oh, this reminds me of, what is it, Jet Slalom? The old Flash game? Oh, that was like one of the best Flash games, too. Back to the Jet Slalom course. Oh, so much. I didn't get the gun, though. I'm not sure what that does. I think it might increase the speed of your shots. Not 100%, though. I love that they have to force you to, like, jump to take these guys out. Like, they're weak, but you actively have to, like, slightly lose control if you want to try and take them out. Some kind of shield up there, I think, that we just straight up missed out on. It's a bit unfortunate. I think Crystal Dynamics also did Gen War, or at least I got kind of a same sort of vibe that I'm getting kind of from this, which is a you know, a FMV laced kind of goofy time, except that was like a mechy FPS type of thing. Not a great mechy FPS, but it was a hell of a lot better than that terrible, terrible, terrible Robotica. Also, we were very close to not making that. That was pretty scary, actually. Had about 10 seconds left. I think we need more speed. I really hate the menus in this game. I'm okay with basically everything else, just screw these menus. I think we're at a boss fight too, so that upgrade was probably not only unnecessary, but... Oh, we're fighting a dump truck! Nice, actually.
Airstrike.
I have an airstrike, I should probably use that. Oh, and he's dead. Okay. So airstrikes are OP. I'm just gonna keep gaining bonuses while I can. Thank you. We apprehended the criminal, but we don't have anywhere near enough money to buy the next car.
It's great the way we killed that busload of tourists.
And he does
We're
have
back.
That's his
Hello.
But it makes him unreliable.
Unpredictable, effective, and useful.
I think he likes us.
Attack that killer tank like he's a bus full of tourists.
It wasn't?
My agents
That guy looks like a diet Nick Cage.
aggressive.
Yeah, your agents wear dresses.
Major.
And they write romance novels.
Colonel.
Fancy? If I have to look at this thing one more time, I'm gonna... Ah!
After you disarmed Grusha, we traced her funds to
Igor Rancid.
suspected of everything from money laundering to drug trafficking.
And smelling like a piece of poo.
But it's also possible he's tied to Dr. Hans Klee, interplanetary syndicate boss. And my
Now you're just making shit up.
Which makes Rancid much more important.
Now you're just making shit up. Oh, this is the pinnacle of writing.
Accept the risk.
Yeah?
Well,
Well, what? You never finish the sentence, you bastard. I hate that Colonel Fancy.
Oh, I love this game. Okay, so we definitely don't have enough money for that, and I didn't go and upgrade anything. Whoops, I wanted to at least grab a little bit of defensive armor, but what can you do? I guess we're going to try our best to just survive for a little bit. Because defense is going to be the big, scary bit for me right now, I think. Okay, well, we're ahead of the time limit thing, and we have perfect health. Ideally, I don't want to spend too much money, because with this guy's bounty, provided we actually survive to fight him, we should have enough for that really nice other car, which is obviously what we want to go for. That said, we still want to make necessary upgrades to survive to that point, so at this point I would say that's defense, but right now we're doing okay. Gotta say, I don't necessarily care for, like, the unfinished highway aesthetic compared to, like, the tropical venue of last time or the spacey one of the previous one. But we seem to be doing okay. We've got, like, 30 missiles. I feel like outside your just standard lasers, though, you don't really need much unless you're fighting bosses. Also, we're literally going faster than our lasers, so they're actually, like, acting as a shield in front of us. That was weird. Okay. Woo! It does feel kind of rail shootery, like in the sense that you don't really have a lot of sideways control and you're always moving in one specific forward direction. Okay, there, frame rate. Wouldn't mind getting that nitrous out just to get away from those guys. And I will definitely pick up that airstrike because that's going to be useful against the boss, I'm sure. But otherwise, I think we're just going to try to avoid spending as much as we can until we absolutely need to, or we can just buy the next car. That frame rate's a bit rough, but... I'm not gonna say it's a game killer by any means. Although I will say their defensive game I care not for so much. That was actually a relatively solid time. Alright. Let's actually go into the shop this time. I'm gonna buy some more defense just for safety. I think we're good on speed though, so. Okay, this is totally different. Oh, now we're actually like properly Mad Maxing, are we? Rock and or roll. Whoa! Okay, we got spikes on the road. You know, I own that Mad Max game. I picked it up forever ago digitally, and I've just never played it. I've heard it's pretty good, although it doesn't necessarily respect the player's time, which is how much extra crap there is lying around. Although, that can be said for pretty much every open world game, which is most games nowadays. And I like open world games, but I really dislike when they just don't respect the player's time. It's kind of why I dislike Red Dead Redemption on a fundamental level. Like, they've got such a huge world, but they just don't have it justified. And the only defense I ever hear for that is, well, it's historically accurate. It's like, yeah, but is it fun? I don't know. I think Wind Waker had the same problem. Just, the world was so huge and they couldn't justify it by the amount of content in it. And I like Wind Waker a lot myself. It's certainly the most timeless Zelda game of all. I'm going to drive under that for style points, or not. Although that one I will. Gold. Need that. Not sure how much any of these individual coins give us, but free money is free money. Something I wish I had in life. So I gotta take advantage of it here. It's weird, your shots seem to like spawn like a meter in front of you, so if an enemy's like just sitting right in front of you, you can't hit them, which is just kind of bizarre. Also, we are just getting all kinds of goodies here. I am all about that. Woo! I feel like we just teleported slightly because I think someone hit us in a weird way. Alright, picking up airstrikes. These bosses are gonna be toast. With jam. The time's critical, but we are, you know, making good pace. I'd still like to speed up if I could. Although we only have 10 nitros, too. I don't want to waste them if I can help it. We do seem to be ahead of the curve for now. So I'll hold off on using it. Oop. Gonna grab that. Those airstrikes just seem to like instantly take out the bosses too. Oh crap, we are slowing down pretty bad though. Alright, that was a lot closer than I thought it would be. How close was it? Very. We had about 7 seconds. Okie doke. I'm gonna buy that, and I'm gonna buy a couple of nitros just for safety. Okay. There, we should be moving a little bit more fast. Oh, we got pyrotechnics displays here. Cool. This game is really quite nice. I like this. It's really selling the whole post-apocalyptic thing. I'm gonna grab all these coins. Not gonna fall down there, because I feel like that's a punishment. Whoa. I think I prefer to stay on the road, thank you. I know Typically in games you want to avoid roads because those are great ambush points, but I think here staying on the road is where you get the best goodies. So we're gonna just keep doing that thing. The getting goodies thing. Whoa! I don't know what that thing was and I should have jumped. That's such a... It's a button you don't use. It's like left shoulder. Also style points. Absolutely threading the needle for the gold. Oh, I could have gotten that airstrike. Not that I'm hurting for airstrikes right now. I think we're good for how many airstrikes we have. Well, that's the kind of jam you get with your jump jets on a ramp. Definitely a good air game in this. And the game lets you use it. And you remember that you have the button. Grab that for safety. Whoa, could do without that giant turret in the middle of the road. Otherwise, that was pretty uneventful. It looks like each one of these coins is 200. As I'm checking the corner of the screen instead of actually watching where I'm driving. Which is like the first thing they tell you to not do when you take your driver's test is, you know, don't look at the top screen, look where you're driving. So that's a rather nice, flattering angle of my car. I think we're good, honestly, and I think it's a boss fight, so we shouldn't spend extra stuff we don't need to. Oh, nope, not a boss fight. I will take that handgun, which I think just speeds up my shots. Oh, there was a shield I could have taken. That would have been nice. Had I gotten better jump jets, I could get more gold! Those are worth like 2,000. Those are really worth grabbing. Those are worth 10 of the silver coins. Alright, noted. At least I have some sort of idea of what... Wow, I have no health right now. That's actually genuinely scary. I don't need missiles. I need I need wrenches. I was going to say rockets. Rockets would have been good too, but then I just ate one, so the game was happy to oblige me there. That's fine. That's okay. I honestly thought this was going to be a boss level. I guess it's not. Okay, let's avoid getting blown up if we can help it. Oh. Timed that exactly wrong to get that shield. Missed all of those like an absolute champ. There we go. Definitely want that spanner. But I call it a wrench. Jump! Oh, I need to sneeze and I can't move my arm to cover it. Excuse me. That's very rude and gross. Please don't think too much less of me, although if you do, I totally understand. Hooray! More healing for me. There's an advantage to dying, though. You do keep your money, and you can, like, just kind of grind the same level, provided you have enough clones to do it. If you wanted to. Wow, I think I overjumped that to miss the gold entirely. That's no good. Well, we got all three of them, so that's pretty good. Clone that I missed. Crap. I needed that. Stupid missile that hit me from the side. Alright. Okay, I could do without these guys. They really do like to gang up on you rather badly. And when that happens, bad things happen. Oh. Oh, their frame rate. Almost done. There we go. Crunch. I don't like that the exit has like a physical presence to crash into. I feel like that'll just get in the way and stop you before you can actually win the level. Had a lot of time extra there. Still no boss fight. Interesting. They're not sticking to a set number of levels and then a boss fight formula. Interesting choice. I think if they did that, it would be a little predictable, I guess, but on the bright side, provided we survive, we're going to have a lot of extra money to upgrade our new super carmobile. Want that healing. I just want to prioritize not dying right now. That's the plan. I'll trade every gold coin I see for a freaking wrench. It's not even a thing to jump for there. Alright. Some nice healing. Is it just me or are these levels getting really long? Like, it just feels like it's... The progress is taking longer per level. Alright. Whoa! Missed everything there. This game really does take into account, like, the slight imperfections of the terrain. Here's a jump you don't actually want to take because you'll lose everything we can give you from said jump. You know what this kind of reminds me of a little bit, and it's not even a remotely similar game, but for some reason it just reminds me of Race the Sun, which is a great little game. That's one of those games you can play a little bit every single day forever. I got super obsessed with that game for a while. Okay. Really use some more healing. Time's critical, but health isn't in the best place. Oh, we made it. Whew. Out of curiosity, let's just take a look at the next cars we can buy. So that one's going to be 6,000. That one, we might actually... In fact, we could buy it from the next bounty. That one's going to be pretty far away, though. Okay, we're on a boss fight.
Airstrike.
Guess who has a whole metric shit ton of airstrikes?
Missiles.
I have a feeling like this was an unused player character at one point. Oh, the airstrikes actually do nothing. But a lot of missiles seem to do quite a fair bit to you there, mate. Also, you landed on your side and can't do anything. Like an idiot. That was interesting. I don't think that was supposed to happen. Apprehended, and by apprehended, of course, they mean exploded. Also, is it just me, or is his model rotating more and more clockwise every single time. I think it is. If I sat on that screen long enough, he'd look all the way around. Oh.
Sneak up on Colonel. You can sneak up on Colonel. You can sneak up on Colonel. Sneak up on Colonel Fancy. Sneak up on Colonel Fancy and up on Colonel Fancy and Colonel Fancy and snap. Colonel Fancy and snap it.
I think we have to skip that. As much as I like those two guys, those are my favorite characters in this story. But unfortunately, the satiator didn't seem to like that so much.
The vile abductor.
Alas, they could have snuck up on Colonel Fancy and stabbed him. We don't have enough for that yet, but we can buy this. So hopefully that's fast enough. Ooh, that's a really loud, obnoxious weapon. And it's a flamethrower. So it's like the best thing ever is what I'm saying. I really don't like those doors so much. Way too many mines. Way too many Andros doors. There's lots of gold coins we just missed. Oh, and that one we just missed. Whatever that blue thing was we just missed. We definitely need to get ourselves a wrench. I definitely preferred that wide shot that the previous vehicle had. This flamethrower is a little ineffective. And we're gonna explode if we're not real careful. And we weren't really careful, alas. In fact, we were really far behind, too. Okay, new plan.
Roadkill 409.
Do we have to rebuy? Oh, we do. We have to rebuy the cars. That's dumb. It's not like they give us a discount either. Okay, so that's really bad. So we've actually now got a very ineffective car that's very slow. And we're gonna have to somehow deal with that. Okie doke. Let's see what we can do. Oh, I don't like those doors. Okay. Well, our gun moved a lot faster and is even more obnoxious now. That's a plus. I don't know what that blue thing was. I kind of wanted it. It looked kind of like a Gatling gun. Also, holy crap, we are behind now. We need to move a lot faster than we're doing right now. It occurs to me, we really haven't seen any, like, nitro pickups in a while, and we're kind of bleeding through them right now. And by that, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're about out of them. That's not so good. I wonder if using your weapon slows you down any. I know the environment's certainly slowing me down a fair bit. We are super far behind. That's not good. Let me drive through, thank you. I really dislike these doors. I'm just gonna avoid them. Screw this. Did the world just loop? I think it did. Because there's that Gatling thing we missed. Alright. Well, we are super behind the times. I don't think we're going to win this round. If there is an upside to this, I think we will have enough money to buy a new engine upgrade, which is good. Maybe 2. We definitely need them. That might let us survive. Past this anyway, because right now we are a bit screwed. Wow. Okay. So you just get nuked if time takes too long. Okay. Huh. That's a choice the game chose to make. Okay. Well, we got that now. It's about all we can afford, so hopefully it's enough. Oh, I dislike that. I'm going to avoid as many of those doors as possible. I don't care if I have to go and mine no man's land over here. At this point, I just hate this level. Just gonna avoid all those stupid doors, even if it means I get blown up a whole bunch. And we are ahead of the curve so far, although we have no health. That's scary. It's really easy to lose track of how much health you have. I guess this is our last go. Alright, let's hopefully not explode terribly badly this time. But it'll probably happen. Okay. Woo! Jump! Alright. Yeah, those mines really do take a fair bit out of you. Which, I mean, I guess that's fair. They are mines. But, still. I prefer not to get horribly destroyed. Oh, there's an airstrike we missed. Well, get out of the way, stupid doors. I don't like you. You're in my way, thing that's about to get flamethrowered. And so it was. Honestly, the bumpiness is making me a bit motion sickness at this point. Still having a blast, though, even if this level's a bit of an ass. More health pickups would be appreciated, game. At least I'm ahead. Barely. Of the clock. Okay. I need to get away from these doors as much as possible. I don't think we're going to survive this. Oh, I don't want to deal with these doors. Or these other motorists. Ah. No, I haven't checked out the new stuff. Unfortunately, Kizu. I really should, too, but at the same time, I have basically no motivation to go back and play it.
What am I, Spike Lee all of a sudden?
These things happen, Major.
Alas.
Yeah, get back to the cliche lab.
Those two are my favorite characters right there. Damn it, that level was so ridiculously hard. See what arcade mode's all about. I mean, otherwise, this game's pretty great. Like, that one level kind of sucked, but... You know, otherwise, I'm quite enjoying this game. I wouldn't say it's the pinnacle of Saturn, but it's quite a fun, dumb time. And it seems to realize it's just being a dumb time, and it's just having a blast with it. Gotta appreciate when something realizes its own sort of insanity, and just sort of revels in it. Also, yeah, this level's going by a lot faster than that last one was. So I'm guessing they just get fundamentally a lot longer. Oh. I'm guessing this is probably the equivalent of story mode, just without the story bits. Which is a bit unfortunate, because the story bits are awesome. Boom. Oh, we can pick pretty much any planet, too. That's kind of cool. I'm guessing they don't... Oh god, it's this thing. I've made a terrible decision in my life. Oh, I want none of this. You know, aside from this level, screw this level. This game's pretty great. It's just a fun, goofy, dumb, insane time. And it's just having a blast with it. And you gotta respect that, if nothing else. And if it's not too expensive, I'd love to get a copy of this. Okay. Yeah, this level's a bit of an ass. I do not like this. At all. I'm honestly surprised I haven't blown up yet. And there it is. But what can you do? Oh, we get 20 clones this time. Let's try the other mode. There's a battle mode. I'm hoping this isn't multiplayer because I only have one controller here. That's the very bizarre Crystal Dynamics ad that for some reason is on here. Let's see what battle's all about. Ah, alas, I can't. Maybe we can pick up some tips on training. So, how is this a training mode exactly? Do you just want me to press buttons and hope for the best? Because I'm not seeing very much actual training going on. It's just a big empty area. In fact, I think that big red monster truck we shot at that flipped over on its side and died horribly was just a reskin of our blue one. Thinking about it. What was the point of that? That was weird. Alright, let's go back into arcade then. Alas, I can't afford any of these. Although they're a lot cheaper this time. Although the final one isn't available. Interesting. That's a weird way to balance a extra mode. Everything's a standardized price, but the final thing isn't even available. Still, I guess it's a good way to test out builds and stuff. Granted, that's assuming that vehicles are fundamentally all that different. From what I can tell, all they seem to be is a different weapon set and different amount of upgrade slots that they reset to. And you have to buy individually for every vehicle, which is a little dumb. Okay, that was weird. Not gonna question it any, but... This really does remind me a lot of, what was it, Solar Assault, Solar Eclipse, whatever it was called. Just with a truck, really. And less of a story, and more just people making fun of the story. Which honestly probably makes it better. Get some decent air in this game. But, like, are the other cars rival bounty hunters, or are they also bounties? Like, why are they attacking me? What's up with that? I do not understand this game's logic. I guess the whole thing is I probably shouldn't think about it too much. I can't help it. I need to know. What is the logic that drives this game on the Sega Saturn? I think it's probably just raw insanity more than anything, but, you know. As long as it's having fun with it, I guess that's okay. Oh, there. Shunty Magoo. Alright. We got this. No problem. We're super ahead of the time. Gonna get some money. Repaired. No problem. I think the time requirements for each stage are a bit too tight as well, especially since they don't really seem to change that much, but the stages seem to get progressively significantly longer. And sure, that's to encourage you to just, you know, tune the engine of your vehicle, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's quite at the same extent that the tuning gives you. Like, it always feels like it should probably be increased a little bit more for each one, especially by the end of it, because they do seem like the levels get really, really long. I'll just 180 my truck, no worries. Laser truck. Still, you know, for a completely uncomplicated game, it still surprised me. It had an insane series of cutscenes that were just having fun. It had relatively enjoyable gameplay, aside from that one stupid level with those stupid doors. Screw that. Overall, I'm quite impressed with this game. I think it's just a fun, goofy time, and I think if you can play this game, you should. I wanted that gun power up that makes my gun better. Gold. Whoop. That's okay. Whoa, okay. I'm driving about as well as I do in real life. Trying to get these coins over here. Still trying to figure out what we're gonna stream after we finish all this stuff, because it feels like it's gonna be ending pretty close together. I gotta pick a new set of games to do, I guess. I've got a few, but I'm just not sure what I want to do next. Maybe I'll make that a Discord vote or something. That'd be fun, I guess. Someone will probably pick something completely random I'll never have considered, and that might be really enjoyable. Randomly throw out their Shonen Ashibe. It's like, wow, I haven't played that game in about 8 years. That could be fun. Well, I think that's a game you'd finish in probably about 2 sittings. So I think it's only like 2 hours long. Provided you don't get frustrated. I could do Wagyan again. I guess. Maybe I could tie it into this and do a Sega Saturn RPG or something. There's quite a few of those, actually. A lot of them stayed in Japan, of course. Oh. That's not the jumpy button, that's the shooty button. Grab all the gold so I can buy a better thing. I just noticed, but my lasers look like hot dogs. Fire the hot dog beams. Alright, here we go. Boss. At least this time they label the bosses, so it's a little easier to figure out. Wow, those missiles do nothing on this guy. It's better just hit him with the hot dog beam. I think you can speed past him too and he just straight up shunts you and you explode. Like, it's not even a race, it's just he somehow just instant kills you if you manage to do it. But unlike other bosses, there didn't seem to be any like money at the side of the road, so there's not really any advantage to extending the fight all that long. You can wheelie. That's kinda neat. I guess you don't have to jump jet just to hit all the helicopters and stuff. But you could. Well, we have enough to buy any car ever now. Okay, let's ignore this planet because it's the worst thing ever. I was not allowed to pick my vehicle now. Maybe I wanted to upgrade it. You don't know, game. Oh, it's where the Space Harrier skulls. Kind of like the tribal thing the soundtrack's going for this planet. It's quite nice. Alas, you will fear my hot dog beam, spaceships. I think the big truck with the wide shot was probably the most effective in terms of basic weaponry. Whoa. It'd be kind of nice to see a bunch of different trucks out there. There really only seem to be like one enemy truck out there, which is a bit lame. That said, then they'd have to be programmed differently, I imagine. Have different weapons and stuff, and it would probably make the game run even more awkwardly than this game sometimes chooses to. There's a clone. And something was definitely written on the ground there that I couldn't read. Because I'm driving and reading is hard. Ah, missed the turbo. Whoa! Eat hot dogs, helicopter. Woo! Whoa! Okay there, camera. Oh, what's that, turbo? Try and just squeak by there. It's a really fast-paced game, even if the frame rate's a little all over the place. I appreciate the kind of action it's trying to have, even if it doesn't always run super smoothly. Oh. That was fun. I had about 20 seconds of extra there. Oh, I can just select the shop down here. It's not going to instantly throw me in. Okay, well, let's buy a new car, because this one's completely overwhelmingly maxed out in terms of stuff. Interesting. That one has the wide shot. I do like that wide shot, but that one has lightning. I'm interested in seeing what that lightning is all about, because lightning guns are always fun. Let's take a random shot and hope for the best. Kind of a shame you can't get, like, the ultimate final vehicle in this, though. You know, I was actually thinking about playing Congo today. I remember seeing it in a demo disc I have, and I thought that game looked cool. That was a game I always wanted to play, and I actually thought about playing it tonight. And then I ended up playing Off-World Interceptor Extreme and had a blast until I ran into the stupid Andros doors. That ended my story mode. But man, the story mode in this is just absolutely bonkers. That lightning gun is a little, not great. Like, it's got the homing thing, but I'd kind of like it to do more stuff immediately. Really, the worst Saturn game. That's kind of a shame, because I remember seeing that forever ago and thinking, man, I want to play that. We might do that next Saturn day then. Just because I have wanted to play it. And I honestly did think about playing it this time just to sort of appease nostalgia. And now my cat wants out. You know, it's a shame. You missed the story mode, which was just ridiculous. We're talking really, really bad cutscenes with two guys sitting in front of a theater making fun of it. And it was like the greatest thing ever. They're my heroes. And I love that this game absolutely has the guts to just make fun of how absurdly awkward and bad the FMVs in this game are. This is a pretty good game. If I find it for cheap, I'm definitely grabbing it. Oh! Space Harrier skulls. Go away. I don't like you. I think I played the original test drive at one point. I remember seeing the cutscenes from that. They looked pretty insane as well. All I really remember from what I think was test drive back in the day is you were like either a yellow car or a red car, and you had to race past the other one, but you also had to compete with the police. I think that was test drive anyway. I really like Test Drive Unlimited too. Never played the first one though, but I loved that it was just a big open world racing game with a lot of customization. I reviewed it forever ago, and there's a third one coming out next year, apparently. I don't remember it being all that great a game, but I just like big open-world driving games because it reminds me of my favorite arcade game ever, Outrun. Just because, you know, it was like a choose-your-own-adventure, but a driving game. And that, to me, was really cool. Stuff like Forza Horizon was like that as well. The first one was really, really good. I played the second one, that was just awful. I haven't touched the series since, and I think there's like a fifth one now, which is surprising because I didn't even realize there was a fourth one. But I don't know, I've never really liked like big simulation racing games. I like the arcadey stuff. They just feel more fun and creative to me. But again, my favorite arcade game ever is Outrun. It's also like my favorite driving game, so you know. I like the ones that are adventures where you can explore, because exploration and collecting stuff has always been like my go-to stuff in games. Always been a collector-explorer. It's just how I am. I've actually never played Ridge Racer. The only thing I know about it is that with Ridge Racer, Namco Bandai put back the game industry by about 15 years with a copyright they had. Or a trademark, rather. And then no one ever actually took them up on it after it lapsed. And now we're in kind of a weird spot where we should have used it but never did. And now we're actually sort of behind technologically, not dissimilarly to how the Dark Ages was. Because, of course, back then, for whatever reason, Namco decided, hey, we're going to have all these fun classic Namco arcade games in the loading screens. But no one else is ever allowed to have mini-games in the loading screens. We're going to make it so we own the actual legal rights to that idea. And then no one else ever did. And that was in the time when loading screens were exceptionally, stupidly bad, and we could have used more of that. And Namco Bandai didn't even use it all that much when they did use it. No, it was definitely Namco Bandai that did it. I remember because you could play, like, Galaga and Dig Dug in one of the Ridge Racers. That's what I remember about that game, and I never even played it. I think it was Ridge Racer 6, I think. One of the ones on the PS3. I actually want to try that game because it looks neat, but that's also because I've never played Ridge Racer. But at the same time, you know, it's just garbage that they decide to try and own such a common idea as that really should have been open to anyone, and the fact that it wasn't just set us back in terms of technology for a ridiculous sum of time for no real reason other than their own vanity, really. Like, I don't know how you can own a concept like that. Like, realistically you can't, and yet somehow they tried to and successfully managed to defend that, and it's depressing that they did. That's like the one Ridge Racer I really want to try to, is the one on the PS3 that had that, because it looked fun, but I just otherwise have never even seen a Ridge Racer game. Ooh, lots of guns to make my lightning even more lightning-licious. I have to say, those lightning power-ups, that really gives us a jam. I like that. Well done, lightning power-ups. Really, the PS1 one did as well. Interesting. I didn't realize the original Ridge Racer had that sort of stuff. I know the PS3 one did, but they might have already had the trademark at that point. I'm actually not sure when they instated it. I know it lapsed like something like 5 years ago, and we're at the point where stuff tends to load fast enough that you can't really do anything with it anymore. But, you know, to me, that's just like the Dark Ages. That's effectively killing ideas and thought and creativity and sending us back technologically for the sake of vanity. And setting us back as a species. And that just pisses me off. Really, yeah, you actually did get something for beating that Galaga, too. Man, I really want to play a few Ridge Racer games now. I wonder how hard to find they are. Because I've certainly never actually seen any of them physically. I gotta say, this upgraded lightning is badass. Well done, Crystal Dynamics. You made a good thing with this lightning, and this game in general. I'll have to keep an eye out for it, then, if it is common. You know, everything about this game just seems absolutely insane. Like, the story, the way it's told, the gameplay itself. But, like, even when you start, you get, like, an ad for other Crystal Dynamics stuff, and it's the most just insane thing ever that makes no sense. And you just have to imagine they were having fun, if nothing else. Even if it made absolutely zero sense to do things the way they did, it seems like Crystal Dynamics was just having fun with this. And just in general, at the time. Gotta respect that. Woo! Let's not flip our car-mobile if we can help it. Oh, we got 30 nitro. I think we're good. But alas, we don't get the ridiculous, goofy story in this mode. It's just basically easy mode, but with a level selector. I'm not saying there's no value in that, but I really miss the story, even if one of the cutscenes freaked the satiator out of it a bit. Although it would have been funny to see one of the critics stab Captain Fancy Pants in the back. That would have been fun. But alas, that was of course the cutscene that didn't work. This game is just ridiculous. I need a copy of this, is the short version of this story, I guess. Sega patents touchscreen tech for games. Oh dear lord. It's happening again, isn't it? Stop patenting dumb, obvious stuff. That reminds me of back when the DS was coming out. Or no, it was back when the Switch was coming out. Nintendo was getting sued for the Wii Remote because someone came up with the idea of using a pointer controller for a screen interface like 30 years before the Wii ever came out. And it's like, okay, but you were just patent sitting. And that's a terrible thing, and you shouldn't have patents if you're not doing anything with it, and I'm pretty sure most courts will rule in that favor. I absolutely hate patent trolls like that. It's the stupidest thing ever. I've had to actually fight one at one point because of that nonsense. It's just stupid. And for the most part, all they do is come up with a really broad concept that could be literally anything, and then call anyone that has anything in a remote ballpark of their definition of what they have out on it, and then try and sue them in court, expecting them to be a small person who's afraid to go to court and have them not show up so they win by default. Yeah, pretty much the guy who patented the word edge for... You know, the Candy Crush people did that as well. They tried to patent the word saga forever ago, and they had to take that to court, and they lost badly because you shouldn't be able to copyright single words. Like, there are laws against that because of it just being dumb and pointless. And I just in general hate the Candy Crush guys. They do a lot of really morally shitty things to have hurt a lot of smaller people. For no real reason either, other than just to spread bad will and to show how much money they have. Yeah, I suppose going up against someone bigger than you is a good way to stop you from doing that, because they will actually take you to court. They take court threats rather seriously. And they will kick you hard. And they have the money to do it too. For the same reason you will never see my Final Fantasy XIII review. Because I can't possibly actually contest that I didn't copyright infringe Square Enix by showing some footage from one of their games, short of taking them to court, which they would actually follow up on. Although, to be fair, I think that was a pretty bad review, honestly. I think that was actually, like, if I ever made a bad review, it was that one, and that's because I was so emotionally invested in Final Fantasy that finding something I disliked about that, I was complaining and just on a freaking rant about that one. So, you know what, I'm actually okay with not showing that ever, but I do kind of wish I could show the ending of that, where I have the sudden, honest, and slow realization that I'm not sure I can be called a Final Fantasy fan anymore, just because, you know, I remember what Final Fantasy was, and I liked it then. What we have now isn't Final Fantasy, and I don't like it. So I'm not sure I can be called a Final Fantasy fan anymore. It's like, you know, it probably sounded like some kind of scripted outro, but absolutely that was just a on-the-moment realization. It's very weird to run into a situation where EA can be considered the good guy, but, you know, if they crush someone in court who deserves it for being an asshole, good on you, EA. For once. Oh god, Final Fantasy XIII is so bad. I can make fun of 13 forever. I can make fun of pretty much all the characters in 13 forever. Because they were just all so bad. I think there was one character I kind of liked, and they were like the least relevant character in the plot, and maybe that's why I liked them. Because at least they weren't half as obnoxious as anyone else. 13-2, I never finished because it was more of the same, but I kind of liked it more just because I liked the kid played by Jason Marsden. He at least seemed to have a decent head on his shoulders, but I hated Sarah, and I hate Final Fantasy XIII in general, so releasing it a second time did nothing for me. I've heard Lightning Returns is better because it's a functionally somewhat different game, but I can't be bothered. I really can't. But I would say 13-2 is more or less an improvement of the original. But if you didn't like the original, it's not going to do anything for you. That's my conclusion, as someone who's played both and beaten the first one. The misery of having to beat the first one twice. I did that once just to make a video that I can't even show because Square Enix are assholes. That's fine, I guess. It might have been doing me a favor ultimately, but still. You know, that game is just bad. I find it bizarre how many people defend Final Fantasy XIII as well. It's just like, really? Like, I'm all for people having opinions and taste and stuff being different, but that's one of those things that I'm not sure I can really see from another person's perspective why they would enjoy it, other than it looks good. Like, if you're a graphics person, sure, but I mean, that's a game that has basically no gameplay. It's entirely a game that plays on autopilot. There's no exploration until literally, like, the last 10% of it. Like, why do people like that? The story is just bad. The characters are obnoxious. They're at best really bland and boring, and at worst, they're vanille. I just don't understand. Yep, Yeah, making it to the planet at the end was probably the best part about the game, but... You know, it's like the people who told me to play Final Fantasy 13 before I ever did. You know, they said, oh, trust me, it's a great game when you get to the end. It's like, okay, and how long does it take to get to that point? Oh, you know, don't worry about it, just, you know, 40 hours in like a 45-hour game. It's like, oh, okay, so I have to sit through 95% of a game I don't want to play. I'm all for understanding that a game might have a slow start, but that game was literally tutorializing in the final stretch of the game. If you're doing that, you have cocked up your game. Massive. I'm sorry, that is just objectively bad game design. I should not be seeing tutorials at the end of your game. If you've done that, you need to reconsider what you've done with your life. Ugh, I can talk about how much I dislike that game forever. And I have. But, man... I just don't understand how that series lasts as long as it does, and I genuinely don't understand specifically why the 13 series lasted 3 games. Technically 4 if you want to count 15, which was initially going to be part of Final Fantasy 13. I don't know. I don't understand anything about the fandom that likes that game, but that's fandoms being fandoms, I guess. I suppose, but, you know, you can make other games using the same engine. You don't have to make direct sequels that have the same terrible things from the same terrible first game. I feel like you could have done more than just make a direct sequel that's objectively still bad. Also, you can pogo jump in this game. Neat! I don't know. Like, I think of RPGs around that time, and I can think of some really good ones. Kingdoms of Amalur, good old Dragon's Dogma, Fallout New Vegas, to a lesser extent, Two Worlds 2, Divinity 2, you know, I can think of good RPGs. Final Fantasy 13 is not one of them. Eat missiles, sir. Eat a lot of them, and then fall on your side and then kind of become entirely ineffective. A very weird boss. But I think it's a modified player unit that just fell on its head and is doing nothing. This is a boss. I think there might have been a bit of a programming problem there. 'Cause it just wants to do head spins now. Oh, I see. It's actually, like, creating sparks and debris behind it. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I've always seen games that have tutorials right at the end as a sign you've probably made a bad game. In general, I think it's important that you make your tutorials sensible in a way that teaches the player without having to actually, like, you know, tutorialize it, so to speak. Like, if I may use literally the game you sent me that I'm reviewing right now, that I'm honestly complaining a lot about how it tutorializes some stuff. The first time you run into a monster, they quickly tutorialize that you can run away from monsters. That's a viable strategy. However, the second one, you feel like you can do that, and the game will absolutely soft lock you in the game if you do it. They also teach you how to not use combat terribly well, because they give you a melee weapon after giving you a ranged weapon, but your melee weapon is initially a puzzle tool and not actually shown to be a weapon. I didn't even realize I had a melee weapon at that point. That game tutorializes things rather weirdly. But I can also complain a lot about that game, and I probably will. I'd like to not die to this thing if I can. There we go. I guess I could keep driving, but I don't need to. I don't know, I've got the original Resident Evil. It's been a while since I've played it, but I don't remember it being that straight up dickish by design. The way they soft lock it too is just weird, because like you can run past an enemy, and the moment you do that, you think you're safe in the next room, you can save there, and the moment you leave, the enemy is literally sitting in one spot, on top of you, in the, like, right on top of you at the door, and will attack and kill you before you get controlled. Like, that's just bad design. And the funny thing is, I was on the Steam page earlier today, just taking a look at it, and it's like, that is an overwhelmingly positive game. Really? Like, I get I'm kind of making fun of it because it doesn't seem to have internal logic or a set of rules that the world seems to work on, which bugs me from a narrative perspective, but, you know, I'm seeing a lot of gameplay issues that I have trouble seeing as a overwhelmingly positive response to a game. You know, I would say so far I would consider it a game that would be okay, but I would suggest waiting until it be on sale so far from what I'm getting out of it. But I don't know. You know, taste and all that. I'm not the biggest horror guy myself. But it's just, I'm running into some really baffling design choices with that game too. See, that's the thing. I guess you could run out of all your ammo and that'd be a problem, but they also give you a lot of different options for how to fight things instead of just using up your ammo. Like, they give you a melee weapon out of the gate pretty easily. And, you know, it's a knife. It's in your inventory along with your gun. You know it. Whereas in this game, you get a melee weapon after you get a ranged weapon, and it is promptly used as a key to a door. So, using the logic of the rest of the game, you'd think that it just disappears from your inventory, and unless you're expressly paying attention to that, you might not realize it's even there. Like, the way they tutorialize things in that game is just weird. I suppose so. And like, I only really resonate to very specific types of horror myself because I can't do horror typically. But I don't know. I just think that the way they seem to be just completely positive about it just seems very strange to me. It's like, really? I could see why people would like this game, but I see a lot of problems with it too. I wonder if this must be the final level, because we didn't play through the story. We are way ahead of the clock, though. Kind of neat, running around on like an alien base planet that's entirely metallic. I like that, thinking about it. Oh, and we didn't pick up an extra life. Literally right next to us on the final thing. Curious what these extra stages we missed out on are. Even if we ultimately don't get the ridiculous MST3K commentary over the cutscenes. Also, seriously, this is a lot of money I can't do anything with. This is just a nice, goofy game. I like it. Okay. Going through the Death Star trenches now, it looks like. Woo! But yeah, I think next time we could do Congo. I kind of want to tonight. It's a little sad to hear it's not very good. I was also thinking about doing Mr. Bones, which I've never played, but I've seen all the way through, and it's like one of the most bonkers games ever. But it's also like a rhythm game, and I'm bad at those too. I don't know. There's so many Saturn games, like, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble deciding what Saturn game to do, seeing as there's so many out there that are actually really quite good I haven't done yet. Mr. Bones. Like, my intro to that was, again, from the same demo disc that I saw Congo from. You know, it looked interesting and cool. And the idea is really interesting. It's like a weird minigame collection that tries to tell a very bizarre story about a skeleton rock star brought back to life to bring rock and roll out to save a bunch of skeletons or some nonsense. It's very, very weird. I wonder what that costs nowadays. I should look that up. I think at one point they teased that there was going to be a sequel to Mr. Bones, and it never happened. Because, I mean, it was a Saturn game. It was very 90s. It's very true. I don't know, I was playing my N64 multi-cart a little while ago, and I was thinking, you know, you want to talk about really 90s games that were just trying to be cool for the 90s? Iggy's Wreckin' Balls was up there. Like, it was kind of an interesting little, like, platforming foot race game, but, like, every step of the way, the characters would just chatter on incessantly, like, yelling dude and, like, all these, like, quote-unquote cool, like, kids' terms that would make it endearing and awesome, and no, it wasn't. It wasn't even radical. It was just sort of goofy and bad, and it felt like some kind of cynical corporate thing that was trying to appeal to kids. It was like, I see what you're doing, world. It's like that time you turn on Awesome Possum and he exclaims how awesome he is, and you can only just say, well, this is bullshit. I question your awesomeness, Mr. Possum. I don't know, Mr. Bones was very, very weird, though. But it was definitely a Saturn game, I'll say that much. It was... Honestly, it was a great Saturn game just in the sense that it was perfectly exemplary of the Saturn. No one ever heard of it, and it was doing its completely strange own thing. And it's something that absolutely needs to be remembered for how weird and special it was. Which... to me, sounds like it's kind of the perfect game. You know, if Panzer Dragoon Saga didn't already exist and was the perfect game. Someday. Someday. Man, that sky is, definitely looks like a product of its time. We're gonna make a scrolling sky effect. You sure did, Crystal Dynamics. You sure did. No, I actually haven't had much of a chance to play more PDS. I sat through and played through the entire first disc in one sitting, and I unfortunately just haven't had time to sit down and do it because I've been bogged down with about 1,000,001 other videos I need to work on before I get time for myself. I actually have like 0 time for myself, and I haven't had time for myself in a very long time. Because I need to make stuff for people. People need content. I'd feel bad if I didn't make it as fast as I possibly could. Besides, if I had time for myself, I'd probably just crash and fall asleep. Because I do end up working like 22 hours a day. Just on making stuff. There we go. Got an extra life. Not that I really need it. I mean, we have the max of everything at this point. Hey, we got a different color sky this time. Rock and roll. Congo's next time. I mean, I'm sad to hear that that's apparently a pretty bad game. I remember seeing it way back in the day and being excited about it, and since then I've sort of been nostalgic to finally give it a shot. Here it's kind of sad, and that makes me feel a little bit depressed, but, you know, it'll be interesting to try it, just for nostalgia, if nothing else. But I remember it being, at least from what I saw in the demo, like a first-person shooter set out in the jungle. In fact, for the longest time, I thought I got that confused with the Saturn version of Tomb Raider, which was also on the demo. But nope. They were totally different things. And I look forward to it, even if it's not going to be very good. Because if nothing else, it's going to be some kind of closure for me to finally experience it. Ooh, I feel like I don't want to go down there. There's not really much going on up here, though. Okay. Alright. And I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do for, like, my next Let's Plays, because Live Alive's going to end soon. Gotcha Force is going to end, like, within one episode. Opuna might take a few more, but, you know, I got to find some stuff to start replacing that, I guess, and I'm just not entirely sure what I want to do with that. I've got a couple ideas, but nothing I'm super excited about. And I feel like if I just do nothing but more RPGs, that might just really bore people. And I know at least my YouTube compilations of my streams aren't very popular to begin with. So I feel like I should probably diversify, but at the same time, I like RPGs. They're my go-tos. Hyperspeed Grandal. To be fair, I did already make a video on that, but maybe. I still need to watch the OVA on that, honestly. I have it in a folder. Just right there in my video section. I look at it every time I open up my editing program. Oh, hey, we got a boss. Oh, we're fighting a centipede monster. That seems to be doing nothing, really. Okay. This is a very ineffective centipede monster. Part of me feels like this entire planet are like a series of bonus levels that you'd find. Or something, because I'm really not seeing much of a difficulty ramp up. At all, really. Well, you know, 4 or 5 out of 10 isn't bad. That can be pretty fun. You know, you can find some really good 4 and 5 out of 10s for bad, cheesy hate watches. But I also have like a million older RPGs, older animes I need to watch as well. I think I passed it. Yep, I guess I did. Huh. Okie doke. Take that guy. It's Fester. Oh. Well, time to do that thing that I hate so much. So hopefully I don't get murdered by those stupid doors this time, but I probably will. Because this level was made by an asshole. And it's really the only thing about this game I dislike. I'm just gonna avoid those doors as much as possible, because they seem like they want to kill me. They is not my friends. And tomorrow we're gonna do God Hand. So that's exciting. It's been a while since I played God Hand. Oh god, I hate this stage. Go away, doors. You ruin everything. I'm just gonna nitro my way through this because screw this noise. Stupid level, you ruined a perfectly good game that did nothing wrong and didn't deserve you. On the bright side, we're actually like ahead of the timer thingy, which I think is the first time in the history of me trying to play this level that that's happened. So that's good. This guy's quite nice here too. Oh, stupid door thing. Whoa, don't want to hit explosive mines. Whoa there, frame rate. Calm down. Just gonna avoid that. Oh. Hey, the blue Gatling thing isn't there anymore. Interesting. I guess that must have been a story mode only thing. Oh, I really hate this stage. Why are there less healing items? I don't care about critical time, I'm worried about critical health. Whoa, come on. Just a little bit further. Oh, there we go. I knew that was there. I can't believe I got it, but I knew it was there. I have zero worries at this point. It's true, and, you know, if the VOD's not on Twitch, I'll definitely put it up on YouTube like I like to do. Holy crap, I hate that stage. Please tell me there's no more stages in this game like that. Because that stage was definitely the worst thing. Please no more open and closing door things. That was the worst. I'm okay with literally everything else, as long as we don't have to deal with more of that crap. That almost ruined this game. And if there's more of it, it might straight up have done that. And I like this game, so it better not have. Alright, well, we got some kind of stealth thing, that's good. I'd like to get some more health, though. Not seeing any, which is concerning. I mean, we got lots of lives. We can finish this if we wanted to, for sure, but I prefer not to die and have to restart the stage. Why is there so few health there? I'd like more defense, world, but you won't give it to me. On the bright side, this stage is nowhere near as bad as the previous one. That's a small mercy. That's the thing, though. I think our armor does slowly drain as time goes on, almost like a gas meter as well. But there just doesn't seem to be any health here, which is not ideal. Let's see what we can do about this. I'm just gonna go down here. Whoa, don't like those gates. I honestly think they're doing a lot of damage to me. Whoa there, mines. Alright, time's critical. As long as I play this smart, we can make it. Come on. Just a little more. A little more. Oh, definitely don't want to run those mines. Oh, now we're running into those stupid door things that ruined my life. Come on. Oh, holy crap, that was scary. Whew. And we beat that by 5 seconds. Can we just please have the boss of this stage so I don't have to do this stage anymore? This planet's mean and I don't like it. I think the best strategy to do this stage is just, like, take weird angles on slopes where there's not mines and lasers are less likely to hit you. That might honestly be the safest strategy, is just kind of straddle the wall like that. Okay. Might want to avoid the mines a fair bit, but I mean, otherwise this seems relatively safe. Plus, we get to be the Spider-Man of super space truck mobiles. That's always a plus. Haha, game. I figured out the trick to beating your stupid stage. I'm just gonna avoid everything that can hit me by riding up the walls. How you like that? I feel very goddamn clever. I am smarter than your bug testers, Crystal Dynamics. Circa when this game was put out. Not that I'm pretty sure Crystal Dynamics isn't around anymore. Pretty sure they kind of disappeared after they lost Tomb Raider. Yeah, this is a ridiculously good strategy. Just gonna hang up here on the wall where nothing can hit me. No problems, no concerns. I got this. Oh god, they made the new Avengers game? They may as well not exist then. Dear lord, that's depressing to hear. I mean, to be fair, they also made Gex, so, you know. Man, I need to make a video on Gex at some point. I've never done that, and I played a lot of Gex back in the day, even though I hated basically every moment of it. That was one of those games you rented because nothing else was in stock. And you always wanted the sequel, but the stupid kid behind the counter would always give you the first one. Probably because someone stole the sequel, which was probably better, but still was more Gex. What's your fun fact about Gex? Is it the fact that despite the fact he was dubbed in English, he's got like 3 different voice actors in English? Depending on where in the world you listen to him. I know that. Oh, now we gotta fight a spaceship? Dick move. Also, I'm pretty sure that's the spaceship from Solar Eclipse. So I'm pretty sure Crystal Dynamics is being ridiculously lazy with this one. But okay, you can eat a bunch of missiles. That actually did surprisingly little. I don't need that much healing. This fight is actually really quite trivial. Because he's not hitting me any. Airstrike seems wildly not useful. Really? Okay, that's surprising. I did not expect to hear that the Tomb Raider reboot was using the Gex engine. That's something I didn't expect to hear today. That might explain why I don't like the Tomb Raider reboot so much, but it has more to do with the fact I don't think Lara Croft has any agency in her story anymore. I like classic Tomb Raider. I don't like new Tomb Raider. New Tomb Raider's not very good. Okay, that is definitely someone who worked on the game. You cannot tell me that's not someone who worked on the game. Congratulations! We did it! We did the thing, but we didn't get the story. Yeah, the new Tomb Raider is pretty crap. Honestly, I don't like new Lara. I like classic Lara. Just because, you know, she got shit done and she had some agency in her own story and she was actually a strong female character. As opposed to the new one, which is just kind of led by the nose across pretty much her entire arc. That she doesn't really even have. And then they just say, no, really, she's strong. And it's like, not really. She's following literally everyone else around her. But that's a whole thing I complain about. I liked this game. You know, I'm gonna have to see how much this game costs. I'm gonna go to eBay right now while we watch the credits. Let's see how much this game costs, because I'm kind of genuinely interested. Okay, that's definitely someone who worked on the game. Let's see what that brings up on eBay. Okay, well, let's try that again, but more sensibly. Looks like the people who made this game had fun. I'm getting that just by playing it, though. This game was a lot of fun, and it just felt goofy and awesome. I don't recognize that enemy. I never ran into that. I don't think any of this stuff was actually in this game. Off-World Interceptor Extreme. Well, for the Sega Saturn disc, only 16 bucks. Or 18 if I want a complete version. Ooh! Ooh, ooh, ooh. On the PlayStation, it was one of those big fancy long box games. I actually kind of want to collect a bunch of long box PS1 games. I always thought they were really, really cool. I especially want to get the Jumping Flash games because those things were just really cool and no one talks about them, and I really want to talk about them myself. Still, that's not a bad price. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that you had one of those long box games. I kind of ostensibly have one in the sense that I have the original Metal Gear Solid, which came in a standard PS2 case for some reason. But I also like that the old PS1 long boxes were like literally the same crazy like giant plexiglass nightmares that North American Sega Saturn games came in, which is another reason why I want to collect them. Ah, good old Toshinden. I've got one of those Toshinden games too. I like them. They're not great, but I like them well enough. You know what's really funny is there was a Battle Arena Toshinden game on the freaking Wii, of all things. I really gotta find a copy of that at some point. This project is dedicated to the belly dancer inside all of us. Okay. They weren't taking anything seriously when they made this game, and it comes through, and it looks like they just had a lot of fun. And yep, those were definitely all people who worked on this game. Good job, all of you. You made a good thing, and I loved it. And I absolutely need a copy of this. There's a secret code that I'm not going to remember because it's very, very long. Yeah, Jumping Flash is really cool. Fun story. That's actually, like, the reason why I want to get a PlayStation Classic. It's just Jumping Flash. Like, I know everyone wants it for Final Fantasy VII. For me, Jumping Flash. I really want to get the sequel as well. I have the third game in the series no one talks about, but I want to get the other two. I know it's on PSN, but it was also like one of those long box games, and I really want to get it physically. But I do want to get those games for sure. That said, I really do need to take advantage of stuff on PSN, because, you know, it's going to go away eventually, and there's only so many different ways I can get Tomba for a fair price, and that many ways is literally just that at this point. Also, we can look at the insane Crystal Dynamics trailer that comes at the start of this game, just to show how weird this is and the weird stuff they did. But this is how they marketed their games. Just sit back and enjoy, really, because it's special. I would love to understand why they thought this was a sensible way to advertise anything. The only thing I'm seeing is this being a decent ad for would be like British private schools, maybe. But this is how they advertised their games on the Saturn.
Crystal Dynamics 32-bit lineup with all the nose bleeding, brain bruising, and eye-grabbing power that you'd expect from the leader. Third generation 32-bit software in your face.
How is this an advertisement for anything? Oh, it's unbelievably 90s. It's so very weird. I feel like I need to just record this and put this up on my YouTube channel just for posterity so that no one forgets this. Never played classic Gex. I played the 2-3D games though. Gex was a weird character in general.
Are there any other games we could play?
Shut up, Bobby. You always were a pain in the ass.
This is just so weird. Yeah, I suppose I should take a look at more promos of just weird shit. Hey, it's that thing we just played. I like that. Blazing Dragons. That looked like a cool sort of point-and-click adventure.
I think he's dead.
The Saturn promo with the bodybuilder and the tutu. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm quite familiar with Segata Sanshiro, though, which is some of the best marketing I've ever seen for the Saturn. And I'm sad we never got it in English. Although, you want to hear a weird thing about that, they actually had like this weird crossover with Segata Sanshiro and Kamen Rider, of all things, because they were played by the same actor. So, like, in an episode of Kamen Rider, he disguises himself as Segata Sanshiro. just for some reason. It was the weirdest thing. Oh, man, but that was a very, very bizarre Sega Saturn ad by a company that seemed like they gave zero shits, but they were having a blast with it, and they made a good thing I want to get. So, you know what? For cheap costs, I would grab this. I think I might have to try and grab this in PS1 long box form, just because I love those things. But that has been 2 hours of Off-World Interceptor Extreme, a game I had initially mistaken as a sequel to Hydro Thunder, which was on the Dreamcast, so I don't know how that worked in my head, but I was also thinking of Off-Road Thunder, so, you know. But either way, this was interesting, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, follow the stream to know we go live, because we try and stream as often as possible. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing some God Hand, which I have not played in forever, so I'm going to suck really bad at it. But someone requested, and they paid me to do it, so I'm okay with doing that. Gonna have to do more Opuna on Monday. Gotta finally finish the Caveman chapter in Live Alive. I did a lot of work on my end to see that through, as well as finishing off Gotcha Force this week. And maybe other stuff if I have time. We'll see. But you also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. Put up a review of Dashboard a few days ago. Check out. And tonight I will have a VOD of a previous Saturn day. I believe Super Tempo is going up tonight, so that'll be exciting. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which is look at the awesome Sega Saturn library and the bizarre insanity of Crystal Dynamics in the 90s. It's just fascinating to see people not giving a shit and just having a blast and making cool things by doing it, you know? I kind of have to respect it and love it. And I wish they were still kind of doing that, but they're not, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.